They abducted 6 of our people. The chances for those who really rip are phenomenal. We all need to make a difference between impact and destruction.
One of the most important industries driving the global economy today is mining. We're currently in beautiful Quebec City, Canada, joined by CEO of OIII, Mr. Jose Vizquerra. OIII's goal is to one day become an industry leader in gold production.
So Jose Vizquerra from OIII Mining with us, CEO. Jose, I'll go right into it. I want to know a little bit more about you. What's your background and what makes you different than other CEOs?
I was born and raised in Peru. I studied civil engineering in Lima, in the Peruvian University for Science. Then I went to do my master's at Queen's University. And then I have studied abroad in finance in Philadelphia, which was a phenomenal experience. I think probably the background or what makes me different where I am as a CEO with other CEOs are the amount of experiences that you have. I mean, certainly I'm not today the CEO that I was 12 years ago, right, or 13 years ago when we started, right? I mean, that's what makes us different, or the different things that we had to go through, right? I never thought about going through a kidnapping in Colombia, neither, restarting a company and with our team to stake the ground out in Quebec. In the urban area where now is Windfall. Neither being now in the verge of building a mine across from where our founders started Canadian Malartic. So I think those kind of things, the part of being able to reinvent yourself, to think about things that you never thought going through, shape us to be where we are now.
Yeah, all the experiences you go through shaped you as a CEO to who you are today, molded you. I want to know actually about that kidnapping. Like I didn't hear about that.
Well, that was a long time ago in 2013. In 2012, we took the company public. It was a gold exploration company in Colombia.
Right. How was that company?
We had Braeval.
Okay.
We had a great discovery there in the sur de Bolívar, south of Bolívar.
Right.
So north of Colombia. And one day we had an exchange of troops because that was an area, as everyone in Colombia, we have to be careful. And we had 60 guerrilleros coming in. They abducted 6 of our people, including our VP of exploration, who was captured for 8 months and a half.
That's a cool story.
That took the company from $50 million market cap to 3.
Right. So it really went down.
But that was the beginning of what today is OTCQX Mining.
Oh, wow.
So that company, we merged it with another company called OIIII, which was another private company we had. That we essentially used as the initial platform or shell company, if you want to call it, to buy then or to do the merger of 4 companies, which were Ryan Gold, Corona, OIII Mining, and Eagle Hill. Eagle Hill had the Windfall deposit.
Right.
So that was the beginning of everything.
Right.
So that was a merger. And then, of course, we start buying different things, raising money. We drilled extensively the Windfall deposit in a very systematic way under the leadership then of John Brzezinski, and now it's a $1 billion company.
Right. And if you go back to OIII Mining itself, how did that company come about? With the background for this?
Well, after we end up buying different assets, at some point we said, well, we're not getting any value for all these great assets that we have. We had at the time around 6 million ounces between Garrison and Marban. So we spin it out from OSISCO
Right.
at that moment.
Okay.
And we put everything into what was a third version of OSISCO.
Okay.
Which was OIII Mining.
Okay. So that's how it was born then.
That's how it was born. And then Marban, man, that has been like a phenomenal experience. We were told when we spin it out, oh, that's going to be a small project. You're not going to find more. It is what it is. You know, you got to just sell it. Probably sell it to Agnico, which is just in front of you. And that's it. But no, look at how beautiful this is.
It's so nice.
This is amazing.
Yeah, Quebec City is amazing.
Welcome to Quebec.
Yeah.
Wow. This is why I love to work here. But anyways, long story short, got totally distracted with the beauty. We have been growing the resources from where we were, almost between 250,000 ounces to 300,000 ounces every year since we started. So and that will continue. I mean, if money is not an issue, like Marban can be 300,000 ounces every year.
Yeah, so you're talking about
so far.
If money is not an issue, I'd like to know more about like the company and the investors in it. Is there any big investors that are involved? And what's the main challenges that you see with that? Also, like, what are your strategies to raise money?
Well, we were, in a sense, privileged to have good investors from the very beginning. Our registry mostly are institutions, from the US, the UK, and Switzerland. And then, of course, one thing that makes us different as OIII is that management, which is essentially myself, have a significant amount of money invested in the company. So when we do well,
so you have skin in the game.
My family do well.
Yeah.
When we don't do well, we don't do well. I mean, our family, or family office out of Peru, has been a very big supporter of what we have been doing. And that is a very big difference. If you ask today to any CEO, if you do a list, I don't think you're going to be finding more than 10 that has bought 5% of their equity. If you do see that, mostly they come from founder shares or that type of investment, but not at the IPO. We came in at the IPO.
That's crazy. That's okay. So skin in the game. I want to know as well, for you personally, what's like the biggest challenge you have of being a CEO of a it's a startup, right? It's an exploration company. So basically it'd be a startup. And what are the things that you enjoy the most? So what are those two things?
If you compare it to a startup of a different industry, well, we will be like the company that has found the medicine, that has already proven the medicine, and now needs to build the facility.
I see. That's the stage.
So either they're going to build a facility and produce the medicine, or Johnson & Johnson is going to buy them.
So if you compare it, let's say, to pharmaceutical, that's the stage you would be at. You found everything.
We have proven everything. Because all our resources are measured and indicated. So our certainty of things it's very high. Like, we have drilled everything at 35 meters apart. So that's a very, very big difference. And now we know the volume. We know the quality of the material, the grade. We know the recoveries, how much we can extract, which that is around 92% or so, which is great for that. And now we just have to build a mine. Now, the question arises on, should we build the mine ourselves? Or can we work together with Agnico, which is crossing literally the railroad to process the ore?
Okay, so one of your strategies would be to have this bigger company, this big dog, like they would be processing that because they're super close. That would like be one of the choices for your companies.
Again, philosophically, to me, as a new generation of mining executives, I cannot fit in my mind that there is a big mill that will need, that's certain, 40,000 tons of material, or they're not going to produce anything in that area.
Right.
That they're not going to be working together with other companies.
Right. I see.
And if that doesn't happen, then it's karma. What goes around comes around, my friend. Like, I mean, if you're going to be what we call in Spanish, el perro del hortelano, which is the one that doesn't want to eat, but doesn't allow anyone to eat either.
I see what you're saying. If you're keeping everything to yourself, being super greedy with your stuff,
well,
then it's going to come back around.
Eventually the market will bite you.
It's going to bite you back, right? So in terms of, I'll just bring it back to like mining in general, right? I talk to someone about mining, you know, there's kind of like a taboo around it, or they'll think about, we're depleting our resources, like it's bad for the environment, you know, there's probably animals getting killed, stuff like that, right? For OIII, you've been able to stand out in the crowd. I know you've had a lot of words for sustainability. Do you want to like expand on those and why it's so important to you?
Well, I think we all need to make a difference between impact and destruction.
Right.
And those are two very different things.
Yeah.
Because in everything we do, we impact things positively or negatively. And in the case of mining, certainly will be an impact.
Right.
You will see that now there is a hole. Now, is that going to impact negatively or positively? And at the end, it's a matter of additions and subtractions. We find that level or that common ground.
Right.
You know, if we were thinking about not impacting, we should not be eating.
Yeah.
Because that means that if you're going to be growing more, or if you're going to be eating more meat or more fish, I mean, where is that common ground? It's no different from any other industry in reality. Where we stand out is on finding that common ground and for that balance. And we believe in the idea of the circular economy. Val d'Or is the Golden Valley, or the Valley of Gold.
Right.
Val d'Or.
Yeah, Val d'Or.
Which is a place where we have to be proud of. And people are proud of.
Yeah.
And it's fantastic to see that. But the mind will be depleted. It is one thing for sure. Resources are not there forever. They get depleted. So if you don't find more, then how do you pay your taxes? I mean, right now, a big portion of the taxes being paid, which is then coming back into society in the shape or form of doctors, nurses, you know, places for people that don't know where to live.
Yeah.
Like all that social component that makes Canada great is because of mining.
Right.
And other industries, of course, but mining plays a major role.
So Jose, one more question is, what's the difference, you know, between buying physical gold and investing in something like a junior mining company?
Well, I'll make the difference between buying physical gold, buying a royalty, buying a producer, and buying an exploration company. So physical gold, you will have just gold, and you will essentially bet for the gold price.
Yeah.
You want gold price to go to $3,000. Well, now it's around $2,400. You're gonna be making $600 per each ounce.
Right.
But that's what you have. You don't have more.
No.
The producers, you're betting for their production, but you're also betting for them to bring the cost down. And then you have the royalty companies, which you're actually buying also for physical gold, but for the optionality on the people exploring for them. So either the majors or the explorers.
Right.
And the explorers, you're really buying for all the optionality in general and for a way less price.
Right.
So, you know, right now, an explorer is trading at $10 per ounce. Like they have in their books, say, 2 million ounces, and for their market cap, the gold is worth only 10.
Right.
So if you believe that someone has the opportunity to be bought, then they're not going to sell at 10. They're going to sell at 20, 30, 40, and depending on the appetite of who could buy it,
right,
you will have there a big win. Or if that junior has the ability to put it in production, which has been very few.
Yeah, it's
that has
really
been
rare
able.
that a junior company goes from the beginning all the way to production,
Yeah.
right? I think it's what, like, usually those
5,
companies
10%.
pass, and they pass like through like usually like around like 5 or 6 companies before they get to production, like 5 or
Yes.
6 companies hands.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, talk about that. Like, why
But
is
the
it?
ones that does it, they fly.
Yeah.
Like those ones goes.
What's the type of return you get on one of those exploration companies that you ends up producing?
So, just to make a quick example, OIII Mining was one of those few. They're worth $1 billion.
Right.
They're producing less than what OIII Mining will produce.
Right.
OIII Mining is worth 100.
Right.
It will cost us 200, assuming that we can work with our neighbors. And if we're at the same market cap as OIII, well, that was already 6 times your investment.
Right. So you're
It's not bad.
6 times your investment is definitely not bad at all. 100%.
And gold keeps rising, could be like 10. You don't know, right? So
Yeah. Exactly. Right.
the industry needs wins. That's another thing.
Yeah.
In order to capture the attention of investors, we need wins. We need to show the industry that we can work together. We need to show the industry that mining companies are actually generating value.
100%. I'm assuming you do invest. Do you have any like big wins you've had in the market, either with your experience in the past?
Yeah, well, I've always invested in places where I have been involved. I've been very lucky. First, one of the places that started investing as an employee was Goldcorp.
Goldcorp.
And they did very well, like since we started. Then Cisco was a beautiful run since 2001. Like we came in at 60 cents. It went to $5.
Right. So
So it was nice.
The stock price was at
10
60
times.
cents, and then it went all the way to 5.
5, yeah. So it was a nice 10 times.
That's a good run.
Now it's back at 3. But I mean, of course, I'm an exception. I cannot sell.
Yeah.
Or at least that's my way of behaving.
Right. Right.
But those opportunities are priceless. I mean, when you find something that is really, really unique, right now, again, I believe that a place where you can make money is in an area where the project has been de-risked and is ready to go.
Right. Right.
So, for example,
what does de-risking mean? Like in that
so de-risking meaning you already have everything measured and indicated resources. You already have the metallurgy very well done. You probably even have a pilot plant, and you really have either managed to get the financing, or in the process of financing, you already have a feasibility study. That's what Pierre Lassonde calls the killing fields.
Right.
You go from risking everything for a resource to de-risk to show that it is good enough to then really put in production, where the risk is really gone.
Yeah.
And more when you're working in a safe environment where you're taking the political risk out of the equation, such as is Quebec City or Quebec. Right?
Yeah.
So that's an important difference for sure, no?
Yeah. How's the macro looking in terms of like, political or the situation the world is in right now for mining? There's things happening in Russia. I think there was a uranium ban. Well, or something,
On the micro side, gold will continue to rally because in a moment where there is instability, gold usually runs. Gold, I mean, historically, if we see the pattern of behavior, gold has been rallying every time that there has been a hike in interest rates. The moment they come down, gold tends to rally very nicely. However, this is one of the few times where we have seen gold rally without interest rates coming down.
Yeah.
Which means that the chances for gold to really rip are phenomenal.
Yeah.
Like really phenomenal.
It's definitely an exciting time. And I'm sure you've experienced some rallies like that in the past, right? Talk about the industry. What did it look like in the past? Like when there was all runs like that?
It happened in the 30s. you know, when they lock the value, then they open it up, rally up in the 60s or 70s, towards the end of the 80s. Then with the .com, then after COVID, it happens.
There are those moments
Every
in
time
it happens.
that there has been difficult moments or wars,
Gold shows up. Gold shows up in difficult moments.
shows up. So one part that is important to know about gold, and we want to see as an industry, is effectively investors coming back into the industry.
Right.
When are they going to come back?
The generalists,
They're
right?
gonna
The
come
general
back.
public in general. Right?
Well, not only the generalists, I mean, also the retail. But they're going to come back when they feel that these are better investment than investing into a bank, into utilities, into real estate. So we need to show them they can make like 100% margins.
Yeah.
That's what happened in mining in 2009.
Right.
No,
Right.
talking about gold or silver. Companies were producing silver at $10 all in, and they were selling at $20.
100%.
It was 100% margins. You don't want to lose that opportunity to invest there.
Yeah.
But if you are producing a 30% margin with the big companies today, the mining company, and you're telling them, invest here rather in the telecom.
Yeah, 100%.
That has no risk in the surroundings. Why would you invest in mining?
For sure.
We need big wins.
100%. Is there anything else you'd like to add before we close this interview and our run?
Yeah, well, you know, we're welcome to visit OIII Mining. It's a company full of optionality and certainly a place where if you feel comfortable, you should invest. So you are.
We'll have their website
Welcome.
in the link below. We'll also add their ticker if you want to check them out.
OIII.
OIII.
Yeah.
OIII on the TSX, right?
Yeah, and OIIF in US.